lecture. I think I've just wasted half of my 5 minutes just hopping to the stage. Couple of words about copper in more general. Copper is the biggest base metal out there, second biggest after iron ore, and called Dr. Copper for a reason, because it's just about every sector of the economy, whether that's construction, transport, everything electric, electronic, so very big, important base metal. And as Michael pointed out, the big driver for copper will be the energy transition, simply because all of the technologies that underpin this energy transition are very, very copper intensive. So an electric car takes 3, 4, 5 times as much copper as a conventional car. Very much the same for solar, for wind, etc. And with 80% of the world now on a net zero carbon target, there's no question that there will be strong demand for copper, not just for years, but I really believe this is a global mega trend, and that's going to be decades that we'll see strong demand. Now, what's the flip side? The supply side, the charts here on the left. The top one, that's a forecast by Goldman Sachs. Their forecast is for a deficit of 8 million tons in 2030. There are other analysts, they have 5 million tons, 9 million tons. I don't think there's a single analyst out there that who doesn't foresee a deficit. And just to put this into perspective, 8 million tons, that's a huge amount. A big copper mine is maybe 500,000 tons. Smaller one is maybe 100,000 tons. So these 8 million tons, that's 16 big mines that are needed by 2030, or dozens of small ones. And if you look at the bottom, that's the discoveries, the copper discoveries over the last decades, since the 90s. And I think the trend is very, very clear. And particularly in the last 10 years, there were simply not any big copper discoveries. So we know already now that in the next 10 years, there will not be any big copper mines built. It's really a quite striking picture in terms of supply and demand. And yeah, that's really why we focused Kodiak on copper a couple of years ago. Couple of words about our work and our project, MPD. We are in southern British Columbia. You can drive to our MPD project from here in 3 hours. It's in a very established mining district near Princeton, near Merritt. And I can't highlight enough what an advantage it is to be where we are. We're not remote, and we have very, very low exploration costs. And looking into the future, this will also be a very, very big difference maker when it comes to building an economic mine. Another point to highlight about MPD is it's a big footprint. That's why Chris Taylor, Kodiak's chairman and founder, who picked out the project, liked it right from the start. You see on the map there our property, and all these red and yellow dots are historically drilled targets, and that's a total of 14 square kilometers. So big footprint, so potential for big system. That's why we liked the project, that's why we acquired it. Started drilling, and in our maiden drill program, made a discovery right away. Our approach was to drill below the shallow historic drilling. There are many, many hundreds historic holes, all very shallow, all mostly lower grade. And Chris's thesis was that the higher grade is deeper, so we drilled deeper, and it worked right away. We made a transformative discovery in 2020, so 2 years ago now. That was the gate zone. That was a real game changer for the company. In the last 2 years, we've drilled the gate zone. It's now 1 kilometer in length. We're very pleased with where we got to. But what is very, very important to understand is that the gate zone is one out of many targets. We have a multi-center porphyry system here. We know we have multiple intrusions because they have been drilled historically. And this year will be a very pivotal and very exciting year for Kodiak, because we will now test 4 or 5 of those targets, which are very similar to the gate zone, with the aim to discover more high-grade zones. So there's nothing incremental about this year's work. It's really a make or break year for the company. We will test 4 or 5 of these targets. They all have equally as much discovery potential as the gate zone has. And it will be a very exciting year for our company. We're drilling now. We're fully funded for 25,000 meters. We started drilling in April. Next update should be in the next couple of days, and the first results from our 2023 program in July. So yeah, exciting year. Watch this space. Thank you.